What's up, my friends? There are two things I think you need to know about these two kitchen scales before you make your buying decision. If you're anything like me, I was weighing the differences, but I couldn't quite tell which one would serve me better as I'm just looking at pictures and reading a description. So I bought both, and I'm gonna demonstrate both of them so you can make the best decision for you. Both of them have pros, both of them have cons, and there are two things that absolutely you should weigh in, and you may not even know what those are before you buy these scales. So let's take a look at both of them. First one is the Amazon Basics scale. It's a pretty thin unit. You have a couple of really sticky non-slip, six actually, sticky non-slip feet on the back side of this scale, and it is operated by two AAA batteries right here in the back with an easy door to open. The battery life is great on this thing. Also take a look at the structure of this thing. So you have the base here, and then you have the top, which is like the platform. The weight is measured right here between the base and the platform. Now, I've mentioned already a couple of differences that you want to consider. When we look at the Etekcity scale, also very thin, very light, easy to use, easy to store. It has 4 feet on the bottom. I'm going to talk about those in just a second. It's also powered by two AAA batteries with an easy door to replace, and the batteries last not as long as the Amazon Basic, but long enough. I mean, you're not going to have to be replacing batteries very often with these things. Now, the difference here is that this is just one base unit. So what that means is the weight is measured in the feet. Now, the problem with that is if you're not exactly flat on your countertop, or maybe there's just something small in there, it could mess up your weight measurement. So you got to make sure your surface is completely flat, and all feet are on the countertop. They're also not as sticky and non-slip as the Amazon Basic scale. So when you put this on and you're putting your flour in and you're doing all the things, the potential for this slipping is a little bit greater. It's not a huge problem, but you do want to consider that, and you do want to consider the mechanism in which it's weighed, either feet or between the base and the platform. I prefer this weight system over this weight system. It just seems a little bit more accurate, a little less finicky. But this is really nice how thin it is, and there are some huge advantages to this one that I want to talk about now. They both have this stainless steel surface that is really easy to clean and really easy to disinfect. One thing you need to know is the buttons. So both of these have cracks in the buttons. Anytime you're dealing with food, there's food that will get down into these cracks, and cleaning can be a little bit more tedious, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. There's not a lot of options without these, without cracks in the buttons. You get into more of the higher end scales when they're all one piece and you don't have those cracks. All right, so let's look at using these side by side. Both of them are really easy to turn on. You just turn on the left button for the Etekcity, right button for the Amazon Basics. And in general, they all cover the unit bases, right? But there are some very distinct differences, some things I really love about the Etekcity that the Amazon Basics doesn't provide. And that is in the ounce unit. One of those is in the ounce unit. It has a true ounce unit, meaning it doesn't convert it to pound and ounces. You can have it do that, but it doesn't do it automatically, which I like. Some of my recipes give me ounces that are over a pound, but they don't say a pound and 10 ounces. They say 26 ounces. So it's really nice to have that true ounce reading. You can also, of course, if you hit this right button here, this is the unit button, you can also change it to pounds and ounces. And if you wanted to make that conversion for you, I don't really like it. The other difference is in the fluid ounces. So on here you have milk and water. It's going to give you fluid ounces for each of those. So as we go to fluid ounces, it has water fluid ounces, and then it has milk fluid ounces, because there's a slight difference between those two, right? So those are another really cool feature that it gives you. Of course, you also get grams, and you also get milliliters. Grams is something that I use a lot too, because the math is a little bit easier when you're working with different recipes, all that sort of stuff. Now, when we go over to the Amazon Basics, when we put this on, right now it's on, so we have grams right now. If we change the unit on this, there is no true ounce measurement. So it's gonna always give me the pound and the ounces, and then I have to sometimes do unneeded math in order to make sure I get the right measurement, and sometimes I don't remember, and when you're cooking, there's a lot going on, and so I just love that that's the case. Now look at this. This is one of the biggest differences I love. Look at the difference between looking at this screen and this screen. The backlight is so much easier to see than the Amazon Basics. And I know it's not a huge deal, but once you get flour in here and you're moving around and you're going fast because you're cooking, it's just so much easier to see this backlight. And then if I take this off and it sits for just a second, the backlight will turn off to preserve battery. But then the minute I put something else on it or touch a button, the backlight turns back on. Those two differences, or that single difference for me, made my decision a no-brainer. But it might not be a big deal to you, and you might like the things about this better. The only thing I do like about the Amazon Basics better is the way that it measures, having the platform with the base rather than the measurement in the feet. Okay? So on the Amazon Basics, we have pounds and ounces, we have milliliters, we have fluid ounces, just one fluid ounce reading. So that's going to be water fluid ounces, not milk fluid ounces. So you don't have that option here. And then you have grams, and then back to pounds and ounces. Of course, both of these you can zero out really easy. So if I'm going to feed my sourdough starter and I'm going to give it 2 ounces of flour and 2 ounces of water, all I have to do to take into account for all the weight that's here is I just have to zero it out. The Amazon Basics is really quick at zeroing it out, and I'm going to show you the difference with the Etekcity in just a second. So the timing on that's really fast, and then whatever I put in here, it's going to account for. So I can put my 2 ounces of flour in, and then I can zero it out again and put my 2 ounces of water in, and that's really, really simple. It also indicates that it's showing you a zeroed out or a tare measurement here, accounting for what's on there. Watch this. The LED is black or dark right now. You can still kind of see it, but as soon as I put something on it, boom, we're back in business. Now, when I zero this out, watch what happens. It takes a good, 15, 20 seconds. I know it's not a big deal, but when you're moving fast and you've got things on the stove and the oven, I have found myself just a little bit annoyed by how slow it is to change. Nothing that would change my mind on buying this one, but just understand that that's something that you're going to experience. Now, it also shows me that I'm, I don't know how to say that, tare or a zeroed out measurement with this little T here. So let's zero these out again. Let's take this off. We'll zero that out. And then the last thing to show you is turning them off. Both of them are holding the on-off button, and then they turn off for just 3 seconds or 4 seconds or whatever. That one's a little bit longer, so you have to hold this one a little bit longer. Both of them have an auto shut off feature, so if you do store them away and forget to turn it off, it's going to turn off on its own after a little while. It's not going to run the battery down. So there are features of both of these that I love. My choice is the Etekcity, but I hope that this has helped you make your best choice when you look at these on Amazon and decide to make that purchase. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful. Happy baking.